Welcome agents, today we'll learn more about the skills within the Division 2 in the third iteration of the Intelligence Annex following on from Weapons and the True Sons faction. I want to go over the skills in detail today with you agents and give you my opinion. So if you enjoy this one, please don't forget to hit the like button below and subscribe for daily Division and Division 2 content. If you haven't picked up any of my affordable epic merch yet, a link will be in the description below. And with that said, let's do this. Okay agents, so what we found out is there are 5 skills that we know of so far. That's not to say there will only be 5 skills in the game, but I believe there will be. And I'm just going to go over each and every skill, tell you what they're all about, and then give you my opinion about each and every one at the end of talking about them. So let's start off with the first one, and that's the Chem Launcher. Now, this is a new skill they're introducing within the Division 2. And it's a grenade launcher inspired weapon, and it fires various ampules of chemicals in an arc that disperse into a cloud on impact and linger to cause unique and devastating effects. That's the description we've been given. Now, when you have the chem launcher equipped, you can choose between 4 different chemical charges. And these are important because this is what we're going to get into. So the first one is Firestarter. The Firestarter canister sends out a flammable, near invisible gas. These gas clouds can be ignited with any spark, bullet impacts, enemies firing their weapons inside the cloud, explosions, or even enemies running into them while on fire. If you combine multiple clouds over a large area, you can create devastating chain reactions. And I think we've seen this within the demo before. Next, we've got the Riot Foam, another thing we've seen as well. This skill fires a canister with Riot Control Foam that disperses on impact. This is the same Riot Foam as you have seen in the True Sons use in the E3 demo. The foam is sticky, heavy, and it expands rapidly. Anyone affected by the foam is stuck in place for a period of time, but the hardened foam can be destroyed to break them free. And that's what we did see in the E3 demo. I think the next 2 I haven't actually seen before. So we got Oxidizer, which is the Oxidizer fires a canister that emits a cloud of corrosive chemicals. The chemical cloud lingers for a long time and efficiently eats away at enemy armor or any enemy mechanical items. Wow, that was a mouthful. So that's pretty cool one. And then lastly, we got Reinforcer. The Reinforcer fires a projectile that detonates and disperses an enemy armor repairing cloud. If this powder hits you or your teammates, it restores any amount of your armor. Powder that sticks on the ground grants armor restoration over time. You have the ability to heal your friends very fast or even yourself over time. So again, another really cool use of the chem launcher, and I'm going to get into what I think about these right now. So first off, the Firestarter and the Riot Foam. We've seen that before, and again, they are really cool. I really like the ideas of those. I like the area of effect that you can get from these particular chem launcher variants. I like the Riot Foam one because it means if you've got a really tough enemy that you can kind of stick them in place for a period of time, allowing you to actually do DPS, especially if you've got an enemy which, you know, runs around a lot, then this would really help stick that enemy in place and do as much damage as possible. The Oxidizer, again, is really good for enemies that have a lot of armor, because this will eat away at that enemy armor, especially if you've got like quite a lot of enemies that all have really high armor. Then this will be really good at clearing out that armor, allowing you to do damage underneath that armor. So again, that's really cool. But for me, the winner here is Reinforcer. And the reason I say winner is because really this is the only skill at this point that I've been made aware of which will actually heal you and your friends over time. It says that it'll heal your friends very fast or even yourself over time, and the powder actually sticks to the ground, so if you run over it, then it'll grant armor over time, which again, really cool. It's actually something I've been waiting to hear about, where we've got a skill which allows us to be sort of support role, because up until now we've just been given details about stuff where we can do damage. This is essentially a support chem launcher, and I think a lot of people are going to be very happy with this. I'm definitely really happy with this. I'm not much of a support player, but I know a lot of people are, and this will come in really handy, I expect. Okay, so moving on from the chem launcher, and we've got the drone. In the Division 2, yes, we have drones. When deployed, the drones hover around your shoulder and follow you around. Depending on what drone you equip, it can stay passively by your side until assigned an order, or it can automatically target your enemies and even friends in some cases. And there are actually 5 different categories of the drone. I think a few of these we've seen before, but certainly some of these we've not seen. So, firstly, Striker. As suggested by the name, this is an offensive version of the drone. Built for combat, the Striker possesses a turret that inflicts continuous damage upon its target. This drone can receive remote orders from its controller to attack specific targets. Moving on, we got Defender. The Defender is a defensive drone that protects its owner by utilising an experimental directed emitter. It deflects incoming bullets with microwave bursts, creating an invisible barrier. However, each bullet deflected greatly drains the battery, and it is incapable of defending itself from enemy fire. It can, however, be ordered to guard friends or other friendly skill items. That is a really, really cool new ability within the Division 2. I'll briefly talk about that at the end. Tactician, built for intel, this utility drone flies to a maximum elevation at a location of your choosing and spots all hostiles it can see, effectively highlighting their location. While deployed, it gives you and your party continuous information about the positions of the enemies within your area. This is the specialist skill for the sharpshooter specialization. I can imagine this with sharpshooter will be a very effective combination. Next, we've got Bombardier. Is it Bombardier? Yeah, I'm going to say Bombardier. This drone can perform a bombing run across a long range. The drone flies to an area designated by the player and drops a barrage of explosive as it strafes from one end of the zone to the other. This is pretty much like a bombing run from what appears to be Call of Duty. And again, something different for the Division 2, looking forward to it. Next, we've got the Fixer. This is the last one. This defensive drone repairs armor over time. You can choose whether you want it to fly next to you and passively repair your armor, or choose a friendly target whose armor needs repairing, including other damaged skills. So again, really, really cool. I want to give you my opinion on this. I really like the idea of the Defender. This is like some out of Call of Duty. I can't remember what it's called, but basically where you throw something down and it defends you from grenades or bullets. And like a microwave, it basically stops you from being hurt, which I think is really, really cool. The Fixer, again, another ability like the Chem Launcher, which is actually going to be a support role. And I guess Defender would also be a support role as well. A lot like Tactician would be a support role, where it actually repairs your armor over time and it protects your armor, and it basically keeps you alive, and it keeps your teammates alive as well, which is again really, really important. I think for me the winner here is Tactician, though. It's not something new, but I just like the combination of Tactician with Sharpshooter. It's pretty much like a pulse, but it's just a continuous pulse which tells you where the enemy is. And if you've got Sharpshooter on, then you're going to know when someone's coming around a corner, and you can have your hard scope ready, because I'm pretty sure we're not going to get quick scopes within the Division 2. You can have your hard scope ready, and I think that will be really effective within PvE and certainly within PvP as well. Next up, we've got the Hive, which is a group of advanced micro drones that deliver special effects to their targets. This is brand new for the Division 2. You either place or throw the Hive, which affects targets within its radius. And whilst most Hive categories are used primarily for defensive measures, there are offensive alternatives to suit all playstyles, and there's actually 4 different versions of the Hive. So firstly, we've got Stinger. Micro drones swarm hostile agents that enter their range, inflicting damage and targeting weak spots, destroying them efficiently. We've then got Restorer. When the Restorer detects missing armor on a friendly agent in its range, it deploys micro repair drones towards the agent. On impact, an amount of armor is repaired. We've then got Booster. The Booster sends out 1 micro drone per friendly player that administers stimulants to increase combat efficiency, boosting weapon handling, movement, and other physical capabilities of the agent. And then we've also got Reviver. When deployed, the Reviver Hive can revive enemies within a specific radius on the ground. If any of your downed enemies are within the range of your Reviver Hive, you can manually order a set of microdrones to revive them. However, you can also press and hold the button to charge up the microdrones. The longer you hold the button, the more health and armor your ally revives with. Okay, so my opinion on this is, this is really, really cool. I really, really like this. Firstly, again, we've got another ability here with Hive which will actually give you armor. So at the moment, every skill allows you to get more armor back, and that's probably a good thing, because if I've not mentioned before, if you come out of cover within the Division 2, you really lose your armor very quickly. So having this in place and playing that support role will be really, really cool. I really like the idea of Booster, which actually gives you a boost to your stats, weapon handling, movement, and other physical capabilities of the agent. How that boost affects gameplay, I just don't know at this point. Hopefully they don't overdo it, but again, that's a really, really cool ability, something we've not seen before in the Division. And then lastly, we've got Reviver, which is pretty much like a support station, except with the change where you can hold the button longer, allowing your player to have more health and armor when they're actually revived. So I assume if you don't hold it, they're only going to get a little bit back, whereas you hold it and you take that risk, then they're going to come back with a lot more health and a lot more armor. Again, I think that's really, really cool, because it means that you've actually got to think about what you're doing. You've got to think, have you got enough time to hold it down so that your player comes back with a lot more health, or have you not? And if you've not, then you could make the mistake of holding it down for too long, and then they go down. So again, I think the Hive is really, really cool. Looking forward to using this within the Division 2. Okay, so we've got Seeker Mines coming back, which I'm sure everyone already knows from the E3 demo. And yeah, let's get into this one. So, as you already know, these spherical self-propelled ordnance delivery devices are returning for the Division 2, but with more features and abilities. Let's hope they're not as powerful as 1.7. These mines use sensors that allow them to target hostiles or friendlies as needed to perform various effects. So it looks like you're going to be able to use Seeker Mines to actually help your teammates, which is very different. You can activate Seeker Mines by dropping them to the ground or throwing them straight into the action, and each category offers something new to agents in the field. There's actually 4 categories, so let's go over them. Explosive. The classic Seeker Mine chases the target designated by the owner and detonates with a staggering explosion. However, it can be avoided as there is a slight arming time before it explodes. That's pretty cool. We've then got Airburst. This mine rolls to your designated area and then launches an explosive burst into the air at a head height of the enemy when reaching proximity. Again, we've had these 2 in the Division. We've then got Mender. Similar to the Reinforcer Chem Launcher, this friendly little Seeker Mine releases repair chemicals. These chemicals form a cloud that repairs your armor or that of an ally. If you have not chosen a specific target for the Mender Seeker Mine, allies that lose all of their armor are automatically targeted by the mine. This is a specialist skill for the survivalist specialization, and that makes sense that those 2 are paired up together. We've then got Cluster. The cluster contains a number of small charges in one package, each capable of propelling itself. When deployed, each of the smaller mines picks a target and sets off towards them. However, these smaller mines are easier to avoid as they do not have room for advanced tracking equipment and cannot adjust their destination if the target moves. So, my opinion, Mender is a really, really cool way of having Seeker Mines within the Division 2. I like the fact that with every skill we've got a something that's going to help you as agents, but also do damage to NPCs, and it depends on what you want to choose with that particular skill as to how they have that effect. I think Mender is really, really cool. It makes sense that it goes with specialization. And yeah, really looking forward to using that as well. Of course, Cluster, Airburst are what we've already seen within the Division, and Explosive as well, so I don't really want to go into those too much. Although, with Cluster, I'd have to say that if the target is stationary, it's not going to follow. If the target is stationary, that's the only time it's going to be effective. If you move, then the cluster mines cannot seek you. They don't have that advanced tracking, and I think that's really, really cool, because I think in the Division, it doesn't matter, they still follow the target, so I'm glad that they've made that change within the Division 2. Last but not least, and we've got the turret coming back, which of course is no stranger to any of you guys. This compact, self-unfolding device tracks and shoots designated targets. Turrets can be placed next to you with a quick press of the skill button, or thrown a short distance with a long press. And let's go over the variants of this. There are actually 4 variants. We've got the Assault. Similar to the Striker Drone, this skill is designed with offensive players in mind. Equipped with a machine gun turret with a 360-degree rotational capability, this skill attacks the closest target while you're in combat. Outside of combat, you designate your turret's targets. We've then got Incinerator. If you enjoy crowd control, this skill is for you. Equipped with an incendiary tank, this incinerator ignites fuel and fires it in a cone to deal an area of effect damage. This turret can be toggled on and off when deployed. That's somewhat new. We've then got Artillery. The Artillery is a specialised deployable that launches exploding ordnance at locations of your choice. Firing once per press, shells are launched in an arc at a target position. This is a specialist skill for the Demolitionist. And then we've got Sniper. This long-range semi-automatic turret targets the same enemy you are engaging. While there is a slight delay on a target acquisition, the sniper can adjust its aim to match your own aim on the target. I've got to say, that sniper one is really, really cool. Let's just hope it's not too overpowered. But I think that's really, really cool that you've got kind of a long-range semi-automatic turret that basically shoots the same target as you do. Obviously, there's going to be delay or whatever, but I think that's really, really cool that they've added that with the turret. And I also like the artillery turret as well. I think that's really, really cool, where it kind of sits in the back and it shoots explosions based on locations of your choice. I think that's, again, really, really cool. And it makes sense that goes with Demolitionist. Of course, Assault and Incinerator is what we already have within the Division, so we already know about those. So yeah, really looking forward to using that sniper turret, though. I think that's really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to using all of the skills actually at this point. Okay, agents, well, there you go. That's everything that we've learned from today's Intelligence Annex. I have to say that I really like all of the stuff that's coming with these skills. I think they've added some very unique skills, like the chem launcher in general is a unique skill. And we've also got some unique skills tied to skills we already know about within the Division, like, for example, the sniper turret. We've also got the Mender Seeker Mine, which I think is really, really cool. The Hive seems like a really, really cool new skill as well. And I'm really just looking forward to using these. Of course, I hope the skills are balanced. I'm pretty sure that not long after launch, everyone will find the meta skill in many ways, but I'm glad they've thought about skills that both do damage, but also, will help protect you in support roles as well. Because my concern was that with skills, up until this point, we've not really learned about anything in a support role. So I'm glad that we now have confirmation that we are going to be able to use skills in a support role, which is really, really cool. I want you guys to leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys are most excited for, what looks like to be your favourite skill, and what you're going to be using from day one. I think for me, it's probably going to be the Hive. I think the Hive for me seems like really, really cool. But again, I used the sharpshooter specialization in the demo when I played the demo, and that was cool. So the idea of using Tactician, where you get that pulse, plus you're using the Barrett 50 cal. I just want to be popping heads. That seems like such a cool thing to have within the Division 2. Hopefully you did enjoy this one, guys. If you did, please leave a like below. As I said at the start of the video, it really does help me out. Of course, I'll probably be covering my opinions on this in detail into future videos, but for now, we'll just finish it there. I'm giving you my rough opinion on what I think about all the skills, and I want you guys to get involved. I really do appreciate all the support, and until the next one, Epic out.